Okay, so my biofuel that I chose to talk about today is ethanol. And so ethanol is a renewable, environmentally friendly biofuel derived from plants. It can be made from sugarcane, corn, or other grains like barley. Cellulosic ethanol exists, which is more advanced fuel. And ethanol is available in place that can be used in place of gasoline, available as E85, E15, or E10. Uh, the biological source of ethanol is corn, and it requires many different elements to thrive, such as sunlight, soil, water, and fertilizer. Field corn stays in fields until the ears dry because corn is very high in moisture and must be dry to be processed. Once corn is dry in the field, it is harvested, and then the machine will collect the whole corn plant to remove the kernels from the cob, and then the field will provide fertilizer to the field. Um, and then the kernels will be sold to grain elevators and become part of the global food system. So fuel is produced through starch and sugar-based ethanol production using either the dry milling process or wet milling process, or cellulosic production using made from cellulosic feedstocks such as grass, wood, and crop residues. So here's the basic kind of how ethanol is produced through fermentation. So you have starch, water, enzymes, and this um, then you have glucose, ethanol, and that produces ethanol and carbon dioxide. So essentially the fermentation process. So how fuel is produced, this kind of goes into more detail with the dry mill and wet mill. Um, yes. And the steps involved in producing ethanol. So just go into more detail. It requires milling, liquefaction, saccharification, fermentation, dehydration, and distillation, and finally denaturization. So the development of ethanol use is widespread. Production increased 300% from 2005 to 16 billion gallons in 2017, and it's probably going to reach about 22 billion gallons by the end of 2022. Future looking, it is probable that the environmental effects of ethanol will become more significant. So this will require some more research and more creativity to kind of prevent this from happening. And as some studies have suggested, these develops would allow biomass energy to provide a sizable portion of the country's transportation energy. So ethanol impact on carbon footprint. So on a lifestyle basis, ethanol has a lower carbon footprint than gasoline. It emits 18.92 pounds of carbon dioxide when combusted per 1 gallon, and driving 1 mile on average emits 315 grams of carbon dioxide. And it has various environmental benefits, but also some drawbacks. So the economic impact of ethanol, there is quite a bit of economic impact, but drivers are able to save up to 10 cents per gallon during the most recent spike in oil prices. And the exports of ethanol keep America competitive in the international economy. So this biofuel has certainly been present in the media, just depending on what's going on in the world right now. So sometimes it's praised, sometimes it's not. It's specifically praised in states like Iowa, which are dubbed as the energy capital of the world, and that attributes its economic prosperity to ethanol. The case against ethanol, it does still provide some air pollution, and it decreases fuel efficiency, increases the price of corn and other staple foods, and have raised concerns from some automakers due to the harm they bring to engines. And although it is great, there are definitely some drawbacks. Plan of action, we can use an alternative such as butanol. Butanol has been proposed as a viable alternative to ethanol because it has a higher energy content, lower solubility in water, and it can be transported through existing pipelines. It can be used to supplement both the gasoline and diesel fuels. So, and then here's my citation, and that is the end of my presentation.